Hey everyone, it's Dave from POV Drives. So I'm starting something a little bit different in terms of my cars and what I'm looking at. So this is going to be like a little bit of a unique series, kind of like renting cars at Hertz. If you don't know, a lot of the cars on my channel actually come from Turo. They're my expenses. The cars I pay for them, I put all the financial, responsibility on myself for now. I don't get press cars. I'm hoping to at some point, but for now I'm paying for all the cars that I review. So I want to start a little bit of series of kind of seeing what kind of cars you can get at Hertz, because I have a local Hertz rental location in town. Most of the rental rates are about $40 to $50 a day, no extra fees, Turo fees, anything. So to get into a car, there isn't much expense, and they're usually newer cars. This is the first Hertz car. This is a Class B car. I have the Hertz rental agreement here, and total cost was about $140. I paid $85 up front and $56 at the Hertz location itself, and whatever gas I am responsible for. So this is a 2023 Hyundai Venue. I did a little bit of research, but I will be doing an independent morning drive or day drive as well as a full-on review. But this is actually the limited, and I think it starts around $23,000, and it's considered the top trim. So we'll just give a little bit of an introduction and very first impressions. I've barely driven this car, maybe about 5 or so miles just back from Hertz. So this is the top trim, and overall it's not the worst rental car I've been in terms of like not feeling like a piece of dog doo-doo. The materials are, plasticky, but they're a nice touch feeling plastic. There's leather and some touch points like the steering wheel and the armrests. You get wide Apple CarPlay, very nice touchscreen that's very responsive. Let's see if I can demonstrate that. It's high resolution and the colors look good. You get this digital screen that's pretty sharp looking, and you get climate control, and what I think is very nice is you get heated seats. But overall, pretty rental spec. This cloth seats with some leather stitching on the outside, and yeah, not much really going on here. I like these black door handles. So we'll do a quick walk around and I'll do some first driving impressions. So first thing I like about this is it doesn't really look too much like a rental car. Hyundai has done a lot of redesigns in the past couple years. This being a 2023 has some of the latest design language, and I like it. The LEDs look cool. They have a cool design to them. These alloy wheels look nice. They're pretty sharp. There's a lot of body lines and stuff. And this is kind of just like a lifted little hatchback city cruiser. No power liftgate, but you do get a good amount of storage. Wouldn't say any more than that GTI, and a spare tire that's pretty nice in a rental. In case you have any flats, you won't be stuck with a AAA bill. We just had a Chevy Trailblazer, and I'm seeing a lot of design similarities with these subcompact SUVs, where it kind of begs the question, why do you drive one of these instead of a hatchback? But behind myself, I have plenty of room to stretch out. I am 5'10", and a decent amount of headroom from that boxy proportion. Interesting that the center seat is like a leather pleather. But other than that, pretty Spartan back here. No USBs, no vents, a little bit of leather on the door catch handle. Other than that, it's not the worst rental I've been in, and for $140 for 4 days, not too bad. We will check out the engine in this car overall, but it is a 122 horsepower, 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. Made it to CVT, driving the front wheels only. No all-wheel drive is an option. I like this gray on black. Looks pretty sharp for a rental car. So let's drive it for a little bit. Interior is not too bad either. I like this white around the vents. Very nice. Before we set off, other couple things I noticed. Lots of configurability with the center screen. This car is pretty fuel efficient. It's averaging about 33.3 mpg over rental miles, so that's, you know, nobody's babying this car, but a lot of road trips, a lot of long distance driving. It's pretty good. I will say lots of configurability to this center screen. We do get a couple of driver assistance functions, but we'll talk more about that in the full review. Other than that, physical controls, very nice. Good storage for your phone. This armrest that kind of keeps rattling a little bit. Classic Hyundai quality. Cup holder, storage, and a mechanical parking brake. Do some drifts with this 122 horsepower. Other than that, though, seats are stiff, not very comfortable. They kind of feel a little bit too bolstered, but what can you expect in a car that costs $22,000 retail? Shifter feels nice though. So why am I looking into Hertz rentals? Well, one, just trying to get in touch with more cars, more variety. Also think it'll be interesting to kind of get a surprise, because I should have mentioned at the top of the show, I asked for a level B compact sedan and they said it would be a Ford Focus or similar. This is clearly not a compact sedan. It is a subcompact crossover SUV thing, but I digress. It's what I get. And I think that kind of adds to the charm of this series that I'm hoping to impart on you people, while also getting into more cars. Because Hertz has newer cars, they always have like a 23. Any rental company I've ever gone to, they've had 23s, 22s, even 24s, you know, current model years, depending on the brand. And that does make it nice for some relevant cars to people who might be shopping for new or, you know, lightly used. Turo is sometimes tough with where I am and getting certain cars that I would like, so having a little bit of surprise and at least getting some car that's relatively new is something interesting to talk about. And I'll be going through all the different classes. I'm going to try to throw up on the screen kind of like different classes that are available on my local Hertz. There is a class below this. I don't know if it's like a class D or whatever, or an A, I think. I think they go in alphabetical order. And it was like a two-door kind of Chevy Spark equivalent. So I will be checking out the next car after this one. So now about this venue, just some quick overall impressions. This is a city cruiser. I'll talk more about it in the full review, but just kind of looking at it, looking at the stats, not very exciting to drive, but decently comfortable. Steering is nice and light, very little effort. Ride quality is good. Visibility is excellent. Practicality is decent. I personally would go for something like a hatchback, maybe like a Toyota Corolla hatch or a Mazda 3 hatch. Those do start significantly higher, and they have their pros and cons in terms of technology implementation, because I will say Hyundai has very good technology, very responsive, very well sorted, easy to use, and available at most trim levels. And their warranty is very nice. So from a buyer's perspective, that's a lot of there's a lot of sway in there. I will say though, driving this car, and we'll talk more about it in the full review again, but 122 horsepower I think is just not enough power to put down, especially if a car that's not necessarily like a small sedan. It's got some weight, it's got some height. I wouldn't feel confident driving this car around, not being able to pass properly. But this is a city dweller. Around town it's pretty zippy. The CVT is decently responsive, doesn't sound too bad at low speeds, but in this class it's not something to complain about. You get a backup camera, it's pretty nice, and as you just noticed right there, very nice turning circle. So again, city dweller. Navigating those tight parking lot spaces, parallel parking in city traffic, this has very nice ability to get into a spot easily and with confidence. That's not a stop sign, but that's fine, I'm going. have no idea what was happening there. Wow. I don't think the car expected to be floored right there. But yeah, it's never going to be a car you're going to want to put your pedal down, which is fine because nobody's racing their cars in the city unless you're in New York City, because boy, there are some characters in the city. This engine is pretty underpowered, overstressed, and that's what you're just going to be getting with this car. But overall, from a rental perspective, great technology. I like the steering wheel. I like the price. It's very fuel efficient, decently comfortable, and it doesn't look like a rental car. It doesn't look like that typical Toyota Camry, Corolla. Nothing wrong with them, but you know, or like a Chevy, or you know, something. It looks okay, as long as you're not trying to, you know, drive like a hoon. We'll give it an entrance ramp. As long as you're not trying to drive like a hoon. Oh my gosh. And push this car to its limits, it's gonna be okay. But even then, over broken pavement, this car just is not too happy with itself. So we do have drive modes. Throw into sport and not go off the road. That is a CVT and a small 4-cylinder, but that's not what the mission of this car is. Sometimes when I'm sitting in work, that's just the sound that goes through my head. So we'll wrap up this video saying I look forward to this series. I think there'll be some interesting cars that I saw at that Hertz dealer, and with any rental company. Okay, let's do a pass. Foot to the floor. Other than blowing out your ears, it actually has some decent passing power. But anyways, Hertz, lots of locations, people bringing cars all over. This is a Florida-based car. I think that's like kind of a standard thing for rental companies. So there will be a good variety, and I'm looking forward to this series. Let me know what you think. Do you think I got gypped into not getting my Ford Focus or similar sedan? Or do you think I'm just being dramatic? Does anyone own a Hyundai Venue? Let me know in the comments. And I will see you on the next Hertz rental car in this series. Ciao, bellos.